Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by my co-host Michael Cohen. A busy week indeed in Manhattan. The Trump criminal trial is now on day 6. Opening statements were completed yesterday. The first witness has been testifying. That is David Pecker, and he gave some bombshell explosive testimony early in the day. Each day of the Trump trial at the Midas Touch Network, when I do the recaps with Karen Friedman Agnifilo, we create these scorecards just to recap everything that happens each day. I'm a visual learner, so we'll go over some of the events that have transpired thus far in the criminal proceedings of Donald Trump. There was also a contempt hearing regarding Donald Trump's threats and intimidation of witnesses, one of which was Michael Cohen, as well as Donald Trump's statements about jurors. Also, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office stated they would be bringing another application for a contempt against Donald Trump based on even more recent statements that he's made each and every day. Donald Trump exits the courtroom and makes some inflammatory statements, and he takes with him these articles that he has somebody who's on his payroll. Her name is Natalie Harp, and she prints out these articles for him from right-wing media that he believes are flattering, and he just goes through these articles with the press. He's like, you see these articles? You see these articles? I mean, his team's quite literally making a picture book for him. Want to talk about that. There's also some news in the House of Representatives and the Senate pushing through the aid package, particularly to Ukraine, that MAGA Republicans had been trying to block. We'll talk about that. Donald Trump's been whining about having absolute presidential immunity to order SEAL Team 6 to kill his political opponents and to kill his enemies. That oral argument before the Supreme Court is this week, and Donald Trump just keeps post after post after post. We'll talk about that and more here on Political Beatdown. You know, of course, we all know that Michael Cohen is a witness in the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case, so we're going to be careful. There are some things, of course, that Cohen can't talk about, and we're going to respect those boundaries. My dogs may not respect those boundaries, but I will respect those boundaries. You never know about Chiquito right there. But Michael Cohen, I guess first and foremost, before getting into really anything, I just want to know, like, how are you feeling right now? How are you doing?
So actually today I did something that I've been putting off for a while, something that we've talked about here with the brigaders. I actually did go to the doctor for a full physical cardiac workup, waiting for, of course, the results. Would have liked the diastolic on the blood pressure to have been a little lower, especially considering that I am on this friggin' medication. It should really have been a little lower. But then again, as the doctor said to me, if I was under the stress that you're under, he goes, mine would probably be twice that. And he's at least 10 years older than I, and he's in the greatest shape of anybody, that's over 65 years of age. I mean, it looks like he's 40. I hate the guy. In fact, I love him. He's been my doctor for like 25 years. Major, doctor here in the city. So, got to keep my eyes on that, waiting for some of the blood results and so on to come back. It is what it is. You want to hear something funny, Ben? Yeah, I think you'll appreciate this. I don't really want to watch too much of the news. Unfortunately, what happens is a lot of the journalists that are either there will be looking for some sort of a comment from me. Hey, did you hear what David Pecker just said? He's corroborating the stuff that you've been saying for 6 years. Okay, that's fantastic, because then I'll put out a short statement. The truth, as Buddha always would say, the truth shall always rise. Or they'll call up and they'll say, hey, Donald, at the the gag order hearing, they're shitting all over you, and Rashawn lost his shit on Todd Blanche. saying that you're losing all credibility and so on. That's not a surprise to me. Todd Blanche, who, and again, I've heard this from a couple of friends of mine who are criminal defense attorneys. The guy actually had a pretty good reputation in the industry. That's pretty much shot to shit. So unless Trump wins and Trump makes him attorney general, boy, did he kind of screw the pooch on this move, because he's making a complete and total asshole out of himself. Then, of course, you can't help yourself as you're flipping through. All of a sudden, it's like there's the photo of you, whether it's on like Fox or CNN or MSNBC. So you watch it for a minute or two, and they're basically talking about my credibility and how it's going to be a bloodbath when Blanche or Susan Neckles decide. This is actually what came out at the gag order today. They wanted to know, how come Michael Cohen can say whatever he wants about Donald Trump, but Donald Trump can't say what he wants? And I put out this tweet: "Hey, Von Schitzenpants, your attacks of me stink of desperation. We are all hoping that you take the stand in your defense." And they actually printed this out, and they supposedly showed it to Mershon, and Mershon kind of reminded them. And again, this is kind of like what bothers me about media, not what you get here on the Midas Touch Network. I've said this 1,000 times, and I believe that it's worth repeating. There's no innuendo here. It's factual. Now, it may be, my facts, which happen to be legitimate, but we talk truth. So here, they keep saying, "Oh, well, Michael's credibility is going to be attacked, and Cohen should keep his mouth shut, and he shouldn't do podcasts. He shouldn't talk to media. He shouldn't do anything." First of all, I'm not doing any media appearances. But the interesting thing, and I keep trying to say this to everybody, I want to be real clear about this. Michael Cohen is not a defendant in this case. I am a non-party subpoenaed witness. And if they think that me saying the truth, which I've been saying the same thing for 6 years, or having, this sort of event with our brigaders, well, then just don't call me as a witness. I'm fine with that, because I think that, as I said on the weekend with Michael Steele and Alicia Menendez and Simone Sanders, I believe that every single witness is a key witness. I hate when they call me the key witness. All the witnesses are key witnesses. I just happen to be the narrator of the story. And then supposedly what Pecker basically did is he's corroborated statements that I have been making, again, for 6 years. For 6 years. And, right now it was allegedly a very good day for the prosecutors, a very bad day for Donald, because, again, the nexus is closing. Wait till the next witness comes. Let's just say it's Hope Hicks. What's she going to do? She's going to tell the truth. She doesn't want to get a perjury charge, I assure you. So she's going to tell the truth, which is going to do what, Ben? It's going to corroborate David's testimony, the testimony that I've been giving, and then the next person will do it next and next and next, until ultimately, when the prosecutors decide it's time for Michael Cohen to take the stand. And I will. I'll take the stand, and I'm going to continue to tell the same story again and again and again, which happens to be a truthful story. Plain and simple.
Cohen, do you have any sense when it is that you're going to be testifying?
No clue. No clue. It would be nice if they would kind of, tell you when, that you're going to be doing it. But for fear of reprisal, if that information got out by Trump and his people, they're not telling anybody. In fact, something which was very strange, they refused to allow Trump's legal team to even know who was going first until maybe 12 hours before the start. So that was sometime on Sunday night, which I thought was interesting for obvious reasons.
One of the interesting points that you made in that statement that was posted is that, Donald Trump is not making an advice of counsel defense, if he made an advice of counsel defense to blame his lawyers, and he had the opportunity to do that, Trump would have to take the stand and he would have to testify and he would have
Yep.
to explain how he was misled by his lawyers and what they told him that was unlawful and how he materially relied on that. Donald Trump opted not to do that. It's unclear if Donald Trump is going to testify. Believe it or not, my co-host Karen Friedman Agnifilo, that I do the show with on Legal AF, she thinks that there's a chance that Trump's going to testify. I don't think that there's any chance that Donald Trump testifies.
Did you ever hear my statement to the guys again at the weekend, like 10 days or so ago, when I said it's about the same chance that I'm going to wake up tomorrow 7'2" playing center for the New York Knicks. Donald Trump will never testify because there's no benefit to him doing that other than grabbing a perjury charge.
Well, and when I was talking and when I was having that debate with Karen Friedman Agnifilo, I reminded her when he sued you for $500 million. He was the plaintiff in this case in a federal courthouse in the Southern District of Florida. He made all of these accusations against you, and all you did was say, okay, well, then why don't you sit for a deposition and you could answer questions from my legal counsel about all of these accusations that you're making, because I, Michael Cohen, have sat through many congressional hearings. I've given a lot of testimony in my day to talk about all the things that happened. If you're suing me, Donald Trump, for $500 million, then okay, why don't you testify under penalty of perjury at a deposition? Then Donald Trump's lawyer said, okay, he's going to do it, but we have to reschedule it. And then as the day was approaching, they said, okay, we need to reschedule it again. And then they did that again. And then you went into court. And then they told the judge, okay, judge, he's really going to sit for a deposition. We promise you this is what's going to happen. And then he didn't sit. And then there was going to be a hearing. And then Donald Trump dismissed the lawsuit that he had filed against you and raised money off of, attacking you. And all you're saying and all you've said, Cohen, is, look, then just take the stand and tell your story. I think you and I have both said over and over again, with a fair and impartial jury, they'll get to hear the facts. They'll get to make the decisions. We have great reverence and respect for our legal system. But the problem that we see with Trump and his MAGA crew over and over again is that they use and abuse the legal system. They attack the system. They try to rip it from its seams. They try to manipulate it. And we saw that also in Donald Trump's baseless lawsuit against you, where he then dismissed the case without prejudice right as he was going to be deposed. And then they kind of just, they run away. It's just the ultimate weakness, cowardice, the gaslighting. And then he goes out there, and Cohen, he's got someone at court who comes with a portable printer. It's her job. Her name is Natalie Harp, and she prints articles that Donald Trump views as flattering. And then he sits there with his Sharpie and he removes portions from these articles that's already being printed for him because they believe it's flattering for him. He removes certain language, and then sometimes they post it on his social media platform. And we've been covering on the Midas Touch Network, like I think in March, it was 20 plus times where he posted manipulated articles where he removed things that he didn't like. And just the very fact that he's got someone following him around with a portable printer,
you know what's truly amazing too on that is I've heard from not even one source or two sources, but more than 5 sources, media sources, that Trump's team have been out there trying to push the narrative of all of these documents that he's walking around. He walks out into the hallway and he's playing with these documents, and they're pushing it and trying to get media outlets, legit media outlets, to cover the story of all of these articles and so on. They're probably written by Newsmax or OAN. He just keeps, going on and on and on. He goes, it's just terrible. Yeah, what they're doing. I should be in Florida. I should be Georgia. And I should be doing this and that. It's so stupid. Ben, have you ever heard of the old expression that people used to use? in law if you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with your bullshit. That's exactly what's going on right now. At least it's the way that I'm seeing it. It's so stupid. I so wish to God, right? There you go. I saw that somebody sent me that picture, but I so wish to God that they would ask the witnesses whether or not you would agree to be videoed or to go live for this hearing. Because, in New York, they don't allow that, the cameras in the courtroom. But I don't understand. If I'm willing to have it live, just blur out the jury. Just blur them out. They can do that. Make sure that the cameras do not take a picture of any of the jurors. I would be fine. I swear I would turn around right now and I would say absolutely. And why? Because I have been trying to get my story out for 60 years. And thank God for Mershon saying to Todd Blanche and to Trump, what are you talking about? He's not the defendant in this case. We don't have a gag order on him, right? Or the witnesses, because I fall into the general category of witnesses. The gag order is on him. And this piece of shit comes straight out and he starts attacking me. Perjurer, liar, has to do with medallions. He doesn't even know the fucking story. And what he's doing is he's lying about it too. But I'm just trying to continue to defend my name, my reputation, my honor. I allowed Donald Trump and his acolytes to disparage me while I was the guy that was there on the witness stand. And look, the things that I pled to, I have never fought with the underlying, charge. I do believe other things, which I'm certain is going to come out on cross-examination, and I'm so looking forward to it, right? And everybody's saying to me, you just got to, keep your cool. Same way that I'm here with our brigaders. I'm going to tell my story. I'm not going to be bullied. That I can assure you. I'm going to tell my story in my general manner. I'll be myself. I just, out of respect to the court and to Judge Mershon and to the jurors, my language will be stellar. That I can assure you, right? But I intend to be exactly myself. I'm going to tell my story. And the beauty about my story is the foundation and the elements of my story are all true. And they're all backed up by documents and corroborating testimony. Ben, how many times on this program, how many times in our private conversations have I told you the same thing? The prosecutors are going to lay out a story via witnesses' testimony and documentary evidence that's going to corroborate the entire scenario here.
I want to share this with you. This was moments ago. Republican Senator Mitt Romney was asked about the proceedings. And, it's always interesting when someone removed from it, someone like a Mitt Romney, kind of reflects upon what's happening. And the way he said it, I haven't heard many other people say it in this way. So I just wanted to share this with you. This was moments ago, Republican Senator Mitt Romney, who's also said he's not supporting Donald Trump. Play this clip.
I think everybody has made their own assessment of President Trump's character. And so far as I know, you don't pay someone $130,000 not to have sex with you.
Wow, that was Republican Senator Mitt Romney.
Yeah, let me show you this too.
I got dozens of photos with me and Mitt. I got to tell you, remember, you and I actually maybe had this conversation in the past when I turned around and I told you I spent quite a bit of time with Mitt and his family, his wife and some of his kids. And I told you he actually has a very funny sense of humor. And I think it was on full display right then and there.
I'll show you this clip also. You saw the chyron before about President Biden being in Florida. Here was a speech that President Biden gave in Tampa. And notable that President Biden is going to Tampa There are a lot of people I know, smart people who are following the polls, who actually believe that Florida could be in play right now. But you've got Biden there in Tampa, and here he is talking about how Donald Trump brags about taking away women's reproductive rights. And then President Biden takes a jab at Donald Trump for selling those very sticky Bibles. You know how Donald Trump is selling Bibles for $59.99. And just take a look at what President Biden had to say moments ago.
Trump bragged how proud he was to get rid of Roe v. Wade over. He took credit for it. He said there has to be punishment for women exercising their reproductive freedom. His words, not mine. He described the Dobbs decision as a miracle. Maybe it's coming from that Bible he's trying to sell. Whoa. I almost wanted to buy one just to see what the hell's in it. Folks, it was no miracle. It was a political deal to get rid of Roe v. Wade. A deal. A political deal he made with the evangelical base of the Republican Party to look past his moral, if they look past his moral and character flaws in exchange for his commitment to appoint justice to the Supreme Court who would overturn Roe.
I mean, I thought that was, that's what you have to do.
And how about Donald's statements about Joe Biden? I almost would ask you, or the Brigaders, if they think that we should replay Joe Biden making those exact statements, because here's something that Trump on a regular basis says about Joe Biden, that he can't put two sentences together, that he has complete dementia, that he's incapable of running the country. Very funny, because how many times have we also said on this program about deflection? That's what Donald does. When he's feeling something is going wrong, especially like with himself. Did you see that there was one where he turned around and he said that he's the healthiest person ever running for office and so on? Really? Serious, does anybody actually believe that? I mean, it's like, why lie about that? Why do you have to be the healthiest ever? Right? How about just say, I'm healthy. I'm doing good. I'm working on keeping my weight down, my cholesterol down, my ticker is in good shape, my brain is sharp. You could say stuff like that, but when you make these sort of assertions, and he's so good at making these assertions, he is the healthiest person running for office ever. I don't think so, right? On top of that, when he turns around and he says that if he was president, right now there would be no Ukraine-Russia conflict. Israel-Hamas situation would never have taken place. Obviously, little rocket man wouldn't be shooting off missiles or doing any tests. Iran wouldn't be trying to create more nuclear fusion material, yada, yada, yada. Everything with him is it's this finality in everything. If he was president, right, there would be no more world hunger, right? The waters would all be clean, and everything would be beautiful, and America would have the highest literacy rate in the world, and we would have the greatest X, Y, and Z, and this conflict in the Middle East would never have everything. They would build the wall, immigration would be there, there would be zero fentanyl coming to America. I mean, it's truly fantastical. He lives in his own world, which is like this really weird sort of red, yellow, blue, green, orange space that exists between his brain. None of us could see it. Right between his ears. None of us could see what's inside that brain, thank God. But only he can. And somehow, he has convinced a massive swath of this country that the shit that he sees in his own mind is actually real. It's real. And they repeat it. They regurgitate his stupidity over and over and over again. It's really, you got to give the guy fucking credit for that.
What's so interesting is you have David Pecker on the stand talking about the efforts that Trump was doing to manipulate the press in connection with the 2016 election. that Donald Trump has someone printing out flattering headlines that right-wing media like Fox and Newsmax is doing for Donald Trump right now to also push those same messages. Like in real time, you have 2016 and 2024 happening basically, fused together at the same time, inside and outside the courtroom. Then you have, to your point, Donald Trump's projection and confession. Like when Donald Trump calls President Biden Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe. It's just Donald Trump talking about there's a photo of you. I didn't even know that photo of you was going to show up. It's all projection and confession. I mean, all we've heard was that Donald Trump's having trouble staying awake in the courtroom. He was described by Olivia Newsy as kind of being like looking like a trout, like a fish, like with his mouth, and having struggling to stay awake throughout the proceedings. And Maggie Haberman reported how Donald Trump's been like falling asleep during the proceedings. And so it actually seems that the sleepy person who can't, it's like a weird nickname to make for someone like Sleepy Joe. Like nothing that President Biden has demonstrated is that he's sleepy. I mean, if you want to say he's gotten old.
Sleepy Joe has no idea what he's talking about.
And meanwhile, Donald Trump's there sleeping.
What's that?
You remember this moment too, when it was an odd moment for Trump to say this, and he says this in his speech before. Remember when he gave a speech and he said that people in Beverly Hills smell very bad, and based on and this is like a major part of his speech, saying that these rich people in Beverly Hills, they're very stinky, they smell really bad. And, one of the things that Donald Trump always does is he calls people ugly. He says that they smell horribly. He calls them sleepy. And, I really wasn't sure what to do with this data point, Cohen, and I reported on it. It ended up going viral. Like, I think we've covered now on, when I do the stuff with Karen Friedman Agnifilo, where we do the recaps together, I don't even know. We probably have done 30, 40 hours, give or take, of coverage, maybe a little bit of less, but we've done so many hours of coverage, especially when you add the hot takes that I do kind of separately on my own. And then there was just this one moment where I had heard from people inside the courtroom about his smell in the courtroom. And I wasn't sure, like as you watch me saying it, I wasn't sure. And it was, some very credible people. I just wasn't sure, do I report on it? Do I not report on it? And there were so many people saying it that I was just like, okay, I'm going to have to report on it. So I talked about what I heard was happening in the courtroom, and that moment went viral. It's like 10 million people, saw that, I think, on just X alone. But I think the reach of that has been, fairly wide. And I'm just saying, look, that was a data point that I heard, but it just goes to show you the ultimate kind of projection and confession of Donald Trump in everything he does. I mean, why is he giving a speech when he's running for office saying that other people are smelly? Like, that's like just a weird thing for a presidential.
You know what it is? It's childish. That's really what it is. I in third grade, we had a kid. He, for whatever the reason might have been, he used to urinate on himself all the time. I don't know what he always had to bring in an extra pair of underwear and a Ziploc bag, and he was a nice kid. Whatever the problem was, I have no idea, but there was clearly a problem. But then, of course, there's always mean kids in a class, right? And they all had nicknames for him. His name was Cyrus, was Smelly Cyrus, and so. And when I hear Donald Trump speak about this, I say to myself, really? Seriously? What grade are you actually in? This is a guy who wants to be, again, president of the United States. The people in Beverly Hills are stinky. This one is a horse face. This one is a mutt, is a rat, is this and that. I mean, have you ever Sleepy Joe, low energy Jeb, crooked Hillary, crooked Joe? I mean, it's there's a nickname for everyone, right? I'll tell you something though. I've become kind of good at hitting back with those nicknames, the von Schitzenpants really gets to him. In fact, it's now been the topic of conversation before Judge Merchan at least several times now, where Donald really doesn't like it. And why doesn't he like it? Clearly, there has to be a problem going on here. Right? He doesn't like the fact that I call him von Schitzenpants. He doesn't like the fact that it trends and so on. And to be honest with you, Donald, because I know some of you people are watching, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. You want to keep beating up on people, keep attacking people with your third grade nicknames? Well, you know what? Sometimes people hit back. And I know you don't like when people hit back. I know you don't like it, but too bad. Too bad. That's not how life works. You are not the end all be all, and you don't get to have the last word whenever you want, right? There are consequences, there's repercussions for your actions, all right? Including a lot of the shit that you had done to me and other people, including when you turn around and you had me unconstitutionally remanded back to prison, including the time that you had your people like Bill the bullshit artist Barr, right? That bloviated scumbag pull my file when I was supposed to be released under the CARES Act and kept me in for another 21 days of solitary confinement, 36 straight days of solitary confinement because you could. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Karma's a bitch, baby, and it's on its way. Karma boomerang is on its way back.
We have a lot more to cover here on Political Beatdown. I do want to talk about the passage in the House of Representatives of the Ukraine aid package. You had MAGA Mike Johnson get attacked by others in MAGA who are threatening to oust him right now. I also want to share with you one of the posts President Biden made recently, reminding people that 4 years ago to the day, Donald Trump told Americans to inject themselves with bleach. We've got a lot to discuss. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after our first and last quick break of the show.
Living a more heart-healthy life fuels everything that you do. So introducing 3-in-1 blood pressure support plus CoQ10 from Superbeats Heart Chews Advanced. Paired with a healthy lifestyle, the grape seed extract in Superbeats is clinically shown to be nearly 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. New Superbeats Heart Chews Advanced supports healthy CoQ10 levels, an important nutrient for heart health. Superbeats Heart Chews are incredibly delicious and so much better than any alternative supplements that are out there. See, I take my Superbeat Heart Chews each morning, and it's really kickstarted my morning routine. After taking my Superbeats Heart Chews, I feel like I have more energy and I'm ready to take on the day. Superbeats includes a powerful 3-in-1 formula for healthy blood pressure, featuring grapeseed extract, beetroot powder, and CoQ10. There are no pills to swallow, no ingredients to mix or prepare. And best of all, they're effective and clinically researched ingredients, and they're #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beet brand for cardiovascular health support. Find out how you get a free 30-day supply on bundles of new Superbeats Heart Chews Advanced and save 15% by going to getsuperbeats.com. That's GetSuperbeets.com. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? Look, I know about sleep quality because I'm sleep deprived. But if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. It's inspired by NASA. Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and they're designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. I mean, no more gross odors. You see, Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and they feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and worse, acne. So sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/beat and try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo BEAT, that's BEAT, at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, well, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/beat and use the code BEAT to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/beat to treat yourself. And thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Welcome back to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. Cohen, 4 years ago to the day is when Donald Trump held that press conference where he told Americans to inject bleach into themselves on national television. Now, one of the things about Donald Trump's malignant narcissism is that he needs to be the smartest guy in the room, and he ain't that smart. And so when he's in a room with scientists, when he's with people like Dr. Fauci or others, Donald Trump needs to substitute his gut, which is always wrong, for what the scientists actually say. So there's a moment. And when I saw Donald Trump giving these press conferences 4 years ago, it's one of the reasons why I even started this platform, because every day the trauma he was inflicting on the country as we were all locked up because of him. And then he would hold these press conferences and then brag about how he's getting better ratings than like TV shows. And it was such an odd thing. But here's what President Biden posted. He said, don't inject bleach and don't vote for the guy who told you to inject bleach. And President Biden was posting on the campaign Twitter account or X account that said 4 years ago today, Trump told Americans to inject bleach on national television. I want to play this clip just to remind everybody what happened 4 years ago to this day. Let's play it.
I'm going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
There you have it. That was 4 years ago.
Ben, for God's sakes, think about this, right? It cleans it out in a minute. He's thinking about your washing machine. You know, you drop a little Clorox bleach in there, it'll clean out and disinfect your washing machine in a minute. You put bleach into your lungs, in a minute, you're going to be dead. But he didn't give a shit. He didn't care if you inject yourself with bleach. He's a fucking clown. Could you imagine? Inject bleach into your lungs. Yeah, you don't have to worry about COVID. You're gonna die in about 60 seconds. I mean, it's as dumb as anything. You know, there's a difference between being dumb and then just being stupid. And this goes beyond both. When you're sitting there, you're telling somebody, yeah, you know, there's a way to somewhat get it in. And the doctors, first of all, it's not the doctors that would be doing it. It would be the scientists. It would be like the Dr. Fauci's, the epidemiologists or Dr. Burks. It's not going to be a standard, right? What is it going to be? Your prostodontist or your plastic surgeon is going to turn around. They're going to start looking at how to inject bleach into all. I mean, to do it into your lungs, just from a medical standpoint. So that actually, I used to do a ton of medical malpractice cases. In fact, instead of being a lawyer, I actually wanted to be a doctor, like my father. It's called a thoracentesis, which is when you put a large needle into the lungs to draw out fluid. Usually you get that from pneumonia or from pleurisy or something like a pulmonary embolus causes the pleurisy, whatever it might be. But to inject bleach into the lungs in order to clean out COVID is, as Harold just said, it's a total schmuck.
President Biden was in Virginia with AOC and Senator Bernie Sanders talking about policies to deal with climate change. And they were having serious discussions about actual tangible policy. On the other hand, let me remind you what happened when Donald Trump was in office. And here is what Donald Trump said at a committee meeting or a hearing that was dealing with the issues relating to climate. Take a look at what Trump said. Let's play this clip.
So I think one area of mutual agreement and priority is vegetation management. But I think we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
I don't think science knows, actually, is what he said. And I just think that you have to remind people.
But he does.
He knows. He knows better than anybody else about every issue. And all you have to do is have somebody who travels with him with a printer, with a portable printer, to print out these articles for him that are flattering. So all he has to do is take his Sharpie and he writes what he thinks the news should be. And then he goes to the press with it and says, "You look at my picture book, everybody. Look at the book that I made. Look at all of these great headlines that I'm getting. It's so much that I'm having trouble reading all of these great headlines." And at the same time he's doing that, Cohen, he's like sending these weird emails to his followers. And he's saying, "Tomorrow I could be thrown in jail. I hope this isn't goodbye." He's sending emails like that. He's also saying that he wants there to be, or he's implying that he wants there to be protests on his behalf at the courthouse. I mean, he writes, "Why are the Palestinian protesters and even rioters allowed to roam the cities, scream, shout, sit, block traffic, enter buildings, not get permits, and basically do whatever they want, including threatening Supreme Court justices right in front of their home? And yet people who truly love our country and want to make America great again are not allowed to peacefully protest and are rudely and systematically shut down and ushered off to faraway holding areas, essentially denying them their constitutional rights." And then he goes and tells people, "Go out and peacefully protest, rally behind MAGA, save our country. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself." And he's quoting a Democrat there. He's quoting FDR. If you look at the turnout, though, there was one person who showed up on Donald Trump's behalf, as the Good Liars wrote. Massive turnout for Donald Trump today in New York, that there was one person showing up. And let me just share this with you, Cohen, because this is something that, as all of this is happening, Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, just posted this video directed at our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, here on the Midas Touch Network. She previously made a video of herself like cutting celery, which was weird. So our editor-in-chief just played the video. It's like, why is she posting videos like that? And so she just made this video. This was moments ago. Alina Habba said, this was as we were recording this. This is what Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, is doing. She goes, "Breaking for the Trollskis. I can't cut an avocado either." And this is what she's posting on her social media right now during this very serious criminal trial. Donald Trump's lawyer posted this. Let's play the clip.
Hey guys, I've never done a video like this, so I thought I would try because Ron Filipowski is getting like 1 million views for me chopping celery. This is me eating avocado. Happy Passover, everybody. Hey Ron, you little trollski. Well, I'm not good at this either. Oh, oops. Get a life!
Just very odd behavior from these, like very strange behavior.
Is there anything that anybody really needs to say, right? I mean, I'm sure she spent 30 minutes or more trying to figure out what outfit that she would need. Maybe she went and got her hair done for it too. You know, look, she's a clown. She's a complete clown who has, like so many people, I was there. I know. She's trying to protect Donald. Nobody knows about protecting Donald like I did for over a decade. And I know exactly what she's doing. Anybody that turns around and says something negative about Donald, like Ron, Filipowski, she needs to be able to show Donald, or hope that she gets enough people who are following her in his inner circle that show it to him without her being the one to say, hey, Donald, look here, look what I've done, look what I did. I went after him. He's attacking you, so I went after him. You know, I've seen it 100 times, more than 100 times. She's typical for, unfortunately, what is now surrounding Trump. When you start to see people like Todd Blanche throwing away a real reputation, throwing it away for what? For Trump? Does he really think that down the road that Donald's going to do something for him, especially if he loses this case? The same way that now Alina Habba is sort of relegated to her kitchen to start eating avocado, to make fun of Ron, who posted a video of her chopping celery or whatever. You realize how stupid that this is? We're talking about a man who wants to be president of the United States of America again, when the whole world right now is upside down. I mean, I don't understand what she's doing. It makes no sense to me. This is as stupid as her St. Bart's at Nikki Beach party, putting it out there. The last thing in the world that you want to do when you're out there representing Donald Trump, a mega billionaire. We all know how rich he is, right, Alina? Right? Who paid you money from the campaign, if you really even got that full amount, going out there and spending it and showing it off to the people who can't afford their own electricity, their cell phone bills, or their rent. You're actually sticking the middle finger right into your supporters' face. She should really just have some couth, which I don't have. Listen, she just doesn't.
One of the things, too, that was released yesterday was some of the confidential documents and information in the Mar-a-Lago case was released based on Judge Eileen Cannon's order. And some of the stuff is fairly devastating, to Donald Trump when you go through it. We did a whole video on it here at the Midas Touch Network, and you'll hear my dogs barking in the background, so just excuse them as they bark. Get very animated.
I did want to say something while the puppies are all barking here. Obviously, I am going through a significant amount of documents. So if we can just, at least I'll say that I was going to talk about the GoFundMe, if at all possible, since we have like 20,000 people that are following us just live right now, which is fantastic. And yeah, the dogs have an opinion too. If this is no joke. They have put me really behind the eight ball. So to those of you who can truly appreciate this, every dollar not like Donald when 90 cents of every dollar I get to use for my own stuff. I don't see the amounts. I happen to know some what comes in only because my lawyer tells me it goes right to her account. I have so many hours that I have invested, and I have more hours in order just to go over, past testimony, just to ensure that this case goes properly, especially knowing what Trump's lawyers intend to do, which is just to attack me day in and day out, and try to, blur the lines of what's relevant, what's not relevant in this case. So I do want to be obviously prepared for legitimately what's the first criminal proceeding against a United States president, former United States president, in the history of our country. There's no room for error here, and I just want to make sure that there's no document that I haven't seen in advance of my appearance. So if you can, thank you, appreciate everything that our brigaders have done, and more importantly, I hope you've had a chance to listen. Tony Schwartz is with me right now on the Mea Culpa podcast, Midas Touch Network, RSS feed, blue icon background. I could not be happier to be a part of the Midas Touch Network family, with Ben, with Brett, with Jordy, Salty. We got the whole crew. And to be honest, the one thing that I can tell you about this network, there's no innuendo here. There's no bullshit. There's just facts. And I can't think of any other place that people are running to get the facts.
Cohen, this is what I wanted to share with you. So one of the people Donald Trump is taking legal advice from, in addition to Alina Habba, who you saw there cutting the avocado for whatever reason, is a guy named Tom Fitton. Tom Fitton runs the right-wing group Judicial Watch. Tom Fitton is not a lawyer. Tom Fitton is he's like one of Donald Trump's key legal advisors, again, who is not actually, I think, a licensed lawyer. And Tom Fitton just recently made a video of himself. And Fitton wears these really tight shirts and apparently also hats that don't fit him. And the same way Alina Habba's making these videos of herself, like cutting avocado, Donald Trump's like legal advisor, who's not a lawyer, Tom Fitton, is making videos of himself now that look like this. Just watch the insanity here. Play this clip.
School, and it looks like the judge will not let me go to the graduation of my son, who's worked very, very hard. He's a great student. Very proud of the fact that he did so well. And I was looking forward for years to have graduation with his mother and father there. And it looks like the judge isn't going to allow me to escape this scam. It's a scam trial. If you read all of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt. It continues, and it continues forever. And we're not going to be given a fair trial. It's a very...
Like, so wait.
It's
so I
like
showed you that.
Let
me show.
Commercial.
So I showed you that. That's Donald Trump's main legal advisor right there. His other main legal advisor, Alina Habba. Let me just show you Alina Habba's video. One more. That's his one main legal advisor. Here's the other one. Play the Alina Habba one. One more. Play the Alina Habba one.
I'm waiting for him to jump on Donald off the top of a couch.
I've never done a video like this, so I thought I would try because Ron Filipowski is getting like 1 million views for me chopping celery. This is me eating avocado. Happy Passover, everybody. Hey, Ron, you little trollski. Well, I'm not good at this either. Oh, oops. Get a life!
I mean, Cohen, I think I gave you a lay. Are you going to do a 2-finger salute? Or you're not going to give? You're going to do a one? Are you going to reserve? Are you going to reserve finger salutes?
No. I think our 2-finger salute has to go to the defendant. Counsel. It has to go to actually, it has to go to all of those that are sitting at that table, from Susan Neckles, even though she really hasn't done anything. So let me just say Todd Blanche and Donald Trump for just really making a complete fucking joke out of what's going on right now, and the ongoing constant attacks on myself and other people for their own shits and giggles. So it's a cutie. So Todd, see you very soon, you fucker. And Donald, what can I say? We'll be sitting across the table from one another very, very soon. The only difference is I'll be the one speaking. You'll be sitting there with your mouth shut, and you'll be listening to everything that I say, which, in all fairness, will probably corroborate or have been corroborated by every other witness that comes forward, including a slew of documents. So, bring it on. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of Todd Blanche or Susan Neckles. Like, again, as I had said once before, to quote Buddha, the three things that will always rise: the sun, the moon, and the truth. All right. Remember that. I'll send you a little bumper sticker.
Cohen, you and I will do a quick after show after this. Spend 10 minutes, you and I, together. I want to do a bigger live with everybody. We're just trying to work through the logistics of everything. And as everybody can imagine, there's a lot of moving parts right now going on this week. So a lot of moving parts, but make sure you're subscribed to patreon.com/political beatdown. Cohen and I will just do an after show right now. We're going to figure out a good time to do that live. And we're trying to, figure that out together, which we'll figure out soon.
When do you want to do it? Because I have no idea when I'm going to get called. Plus, as I was saying before, there's a ton of documents. Any idea when you want to do it, just so that I can have some advance, notice as well?
I really liked doing it when we did it after the brother show. So it's like, we all go there. Is there a preferred time? Let me look in the comments right now. In the comments,
is there a preferred time for our brigaders?
Let's ask our brigaders.
Yeah, we want to be accommodating.
I'm going to take a look to see if I'm looking at the comments now, seeing if there's any suggested times. Let us know. I'm reading the comments right now. All right. You and I will take a look at some of the comments, and then we'll get back to everybody on when to do it. Cohen, rest up. We're with you. We support you, and we are grateful for your courage. We know it's not easy.
There's quite a few that is saying 9 p.m. Can we do a 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? That's a 6 p.m. Your California time.
Yeah, let's take a look at when to. You and I will huddle. Let's make it. We'll figure that out, and then we'll do it. Maybe even tomorrow we do it at that time.
Yeah. By the way, I'm good with that. Whatever works for our brigaders. Because look, one of the things that I won't be able to do, as I explained before, is to talk about any of the specifics with the case and so on. I really am truly trying to do my best not to watch any of the news. It's very difficult because there's really nothing on TV, and I've kind of binge watched everything else. Putting all that, aside, if you give us some ideas, how does tomorrow or a Wednesday?
Yeah, Cohen, it seems that everybody likes that 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll do it tomorrow. Brett is on a flight right now, so I don't have that Zoom link right now. As soon as he sends me the Zoom link, I'll go to patreon.com/political beatdown.
Can we just put the Patreon link one more time so that folks can
if you
sign
want to
up
meet?
and
So
join us?
Cohen, I like that. I like that we crowdsourced when we're doing this. It's tomorrow, definitively at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Everybody will have time to get ready for it. As soon as Brett lands, he'll send me the link. We'll post it. Patreon.com/political beatdown. You and I will go a half hour. We'll chat with all of the brigaders. Meet us. If you ever wanted to meet Michael Cohen, it's patreon.com/political beatdown. Sorry we couldn't do it today. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll make up for it. Patreon.com/political beatdown. Our Zoom meeting. Sign up now. And again, we want to thank everybody, whether you're a patron or not. Thank you so much for all of your support. We're so grateful for everybody who's here watching live. We're just honored to be a part of this community with you, and to spread values of positivity and empathy and love and pro-democracy. It's really so important, and we're all here for each other, and we're grateful. We're really grateful for all of you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. See you next time, and shout out to the Brigaders and shout out to the Midas Mighty.
Boom.